What's good with the Jaguar fans? It's your boy UCF Jaguar Report with GenJag.com, and I'm taking a little break from our draft coverage because the Jaguars are in for their first day of official workouts. Now, these workouts are voluntary, but I just want to go over some of the hot topics regarding what's going on in the Jaguar world today. Basically, Brandon Albert is the only person that's holding out at this workout. He's basically holding out, wanting a bigger contract. Also, Myles Jack has been promoted to middle linebacker. There's no competition going on. They basically said, we want you to be playing the Mike linebacker, and they're going to move Paul Posluszny out to the Sam linebacker spot. And then lastly, Shad Khan got approved for the Shipyards. So those things are going to start seeing work on those coming up soon. So we're going to be talking about this all in this video. So let's get into it. So let's start off and talk about Brandon Albert. Now, Brandon Albert is the left tackle that we acquired via trade to the Dolphins for one of our 2018 7th round picks. And then Brandon Albert is the only player that's been reported that has not shown up to these voluntary workouts. And the reason for that is being that I guess he's trying to work out a new contract and try to get his pay up a little bit. Now, we acquired Brandon Albert. Before the thing happened, I was a little not very optimistic about it happening because the thing about Brandon Albert is he's allowed to either agree to a trade or decline to a trade. And I thought with a player nearing the end of his career, this guy would rather hit the free agency market than go to a team under his current contract. And then after they signed him, he was basically talking in an interview, basically saying that that people are going to be surprised about the term of his deal. Now, that's what immediately made me think that sometime before the draft, between now and when we acquired him through trade, that there was going to be a new deal worked out, because this is he's like 32 years old, so this is going to be really his last big contract he's going to be able to really get. So we'll see what goes on there. Hopefully we get something worked out soon, but I imagine we are. But, hopefully I think he's like the 4th or 5th highest paid left tackle right now, and I think he's like the 3rd or 4th most expensive player on the Jags right now, so I cannot really imagine what the heck his deal is going to be. But whenever these free agent deals come out, I'm always blown away by how much they get. I mean, it just goes up each year. So we got the money. We're probably going to be spending on this guy, so we'll see what goes on there. All right, so on to a little bit more exciting news. We just learned that Myles Jack is going to now be the full-time middle linebacker, and they're going to basically move Paul Posluszny to the Sam linebacker spot. Now, I love this news because last year, Myles Jack was my favorite player in a draft. I mean, coming out of college, this guy was unreal, the kind of coverage ability he had as linebacker, and also how well he was able to defend against the run. I mean, this is a player who's really played all over the field when he was at UCLA. I mean, went from running back to playing like a nickel cornerback, and even covering Nelson Aguilar, who went on to be a first-round pick for the Eagles. But Paul Posluszny, he was a prototypical linebacker, say, 10 to 15 years ago. But now I see Myles Jack as what's going to be the new prototypical middle linebacker in the NFL. And the reason why I say that is Myles Jack is super fast. I mean, the way he can play the middle linebacker spot, have players in front of him, and with the way the NFL is really changing toward a passing league, just having a linebacker that's as fast as he is, can cover as much ground as he can, it's going to be pretty much lethal. And then this is no discredit to Paul Posluszny. I mean, he was probably one of our top 5 players on the defense last year, but we invested a 2nd round pick in Myles Jack, even more than that, because we went up and grabbed him. And the only way to get Myles Jack on the field is to either move Telvin Smith to the Sam linebacker spot or move Paul Posluszny to the Sam linebacker spot. Like, we're in one of those extremely weird but good but almost bad kind of predicaments where we have like too many good players to play at these linebacker spots, because the thing is, while you have 3 linebackers back there, the Sam linebacker is only on the field for about 20 to 30% of the time, because mostly we're in nickel coverage, as Aaron Colvin's going to come in and cover the slot receiver, taking out the Sam linebacker on passing downs. But you got to give it to Paul Posluszny, man. He's he was such a professional when I listened to his press conference today. You could tell he was extremely hurt that he wasn't going to be playing middle linebacker next year. He basically didn't credit it to Myles Jack basically being a future, great middle linebacker. He more put it at a viewpoint like if he would have played better last year, then none of that would have ever happened. But he's going to really embrace changing to the Sam linebacker spot because he said that he trusted people higher up, and if they think that moving him there will help the Jaguars win games, then that's really the best thing to do for the team. But one quick thing before I dismiss this topic, to all y'all people who actually think we're going to be getting that Foster dude, that linebacker out of Alabama, like why do you guys think we're going to do that? I mean, I can entertain getting like a cornerback or maybe getting a safety, but we have way too many good linebackers to the point where we're literally moving Paul Posluszny to the Sam linebacker spot where he's only going to be playing about 20 to 30% of the snaps. Like, who's he going to sub in for? Like, is he going to go in for Paul Posluszny where he's playing that little amount of time if we invest a first-round pick in him? Or are you going to take Telvin or Myles Jack off the field? I mean, let's be real here, guys. There's no way Foster's going to get drafted to the Jaguars at number 4. And the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that some big news has broken out regarding the city of Jacksonville and the Jaguars, as the city of Jacksonville has chosen Iguana Company, a.k.a. The organization that Shad Khan is leading. They've chose them. They picked their proposal to develop these shipyards. Now, Shad Khan's vision with this is basically to give downtown Jacksonville a rebirth and almost form like a bridge between the sports community of Jacksonville and the social part of Jacksonville. Also, doing this will also create tons of new jobs and also millions of dollars in revenue per year. Now, you got to really give it to Shad Khan for this. I mean, granted, he doesn't know anything about football. Some of his hirings have been pretty questionable over his first few years, but he is a winner at the business side of the game. And then before I get into this, might I remind you guys that 3 NFL teams have moved locations in the last 16 months, and not one of them has been the Jacksonville Jaguars. And while people still think the Jaguars are going to move, they have no idea what Shad Khan has done to this team when he's gotten here. He's revamped the locker room. He's gone in and put the world's biggest jumbotrons in their stadium. They've come in and put pools and cabanas. They've upgraded the suite section, add more variety of seating. They're even building a huge amphitheater outside their stadium that they're going to hopefully be able to host some drafts there one day. And now they're building up the shipyards as almost probably a long-term plan to be able to successfully capture and create an awesome environment to host the Super Bowl at. I mean, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that goes on with this. I don't know when all this is going to be done, or I don't know if there's anything that's been released about when all this construction and stuff is going to start, but it's just such a positive sign for Jacksonville as we're going to try to get something going downtown to really help bring people to the city of Jacksonville and bring people to Jaguar games where they have stuff to do on weekends when they visit town, and just to give downtown Jacksonville some kind of identity that it really has been lacking over the last few decades. But yeah, just reading this was just so refreshing, just because over the past 2 months you've read about 2 different teams basically moving cities, and we heard so much talk about the Jaguars always being rumored to be leaving, but just seeing such a positive thing about Jacksonville, and just seeing the words that Shad Khan's saying about how much he wants to build the city up, and just his commitment to the city when he doesn't have any ties to it. He actually has a lot of ties to St. Louis, and last year when the Rams basically left for Los Angeles, people from the St. Louis, Times and the reporters from the area asked Shad Khan if they're going to be, considering moving to St. Louis, and he's like, nope! But yeah, man, it's exciting stuff. Draft is 9 days away. Super pumped. I'll be still coming out with some videos between now and then, so check out for that. And also, if you guys think about going to the draft party and you don't know, who to tailgate with, this kind of stuff, check out Generation Jaguar. They'll be setting up over there and, just hosting a good tailgate. So if you're thinking about becoming a member, they'll be promoting some membership opportunities through there with all kinds of awesome benefits. So definitely go check them out if you have not really any plans for what you're going to do for the draft. But yeah, this is your boy UCF Jaguar, and I'm out.